Peace and blessings. It is your boy, Eli Rax, a.k.a. Vibes, and welcome to New York Revival, where not just sports, it's entertainment. And I'm here with my brothers, my compadres, my amigos. You guys know who the heck they are. I got Mr. Glass Half Full. That's Spee if you nasty now. All right. And I got my guy El Jefe right here, a.k.a. White Jersey, a.k.a. Blue Jersey, a.k.a. Damn it, Daniel. And then I mentioned, man, a.k.a. just because it's Tuesdays, and you guys know what I mean with that new video. Just because it's Tuesdays. But anyway, guys, you know how it is. We are here, man. What? We're going to jump right into it, man. We're not even going to go around the room because we already know we spent so much time with each other. Let's jump right into this, man.
Let's get
nasty. Let's get dirty, all right? Let's jump right into Fan Fest. What the hell? Number one, before we jump into Fan Fest, what the hell happened to El Jefe at Fan Fest?
Tell us,
Jefe. What's going on, man?
Disappointed is not even the word. All right. In the car, actually, I had a couple drinks the night before, nothing crazy, not enough. Right. I would never jeopardize Fan Fest.
Right, of course.
Right. But I had a couple. I got through the day. It was early morning. I was up at 6:30. I muscled through with the kids. I did the thing. I was getting my shit together, got everything going, got some new New York Revival merch I was looking forward to handing out with a new logo that we haven't even released yet.
Y'all missed it.
My man TK comes over. We're on the car ride. He's like, "You're right, man." I was like, something's not right. And like he had to pull over twice. I was like, just go. We're going.
Fighting
like,
through it.
To the parkway, and I was like, pull over. Dude, it's bad.
Worst feeling, man.
Bad. And like once I was out the car doing the business, and I realized that it's like 90 degrees and humid, and I gotta go like be on, and go drink. And I was just like,
meet people, talk.
I'm like, I might turn green if I go to this thing and start trying to party. And I didn't know why or what it was. I don't want to get anybody sick or nothing. So I made a hard adult shitty decision, and I decided to turn around, and I've regretted it ever since. I should have.
We missed the hell out of you, man. We missed the hell out of you.
I missed you.
Everybody was asking about Jefe, right? Like everybody, hey, where's Jefe?
Everybody,
where's Jefe?
Everybody.
We're like, hey, he's had a tough go of it, man.
You know what? They were like, man, I think I know you guys, but where's Jefe? I think he's, that's the guy that runs everything. Who's the star, El Jefe? And I was like, well, unfortunately, he couldn't make it. He's like, they're like, thanks, Vapes. I'm like, all right, you're welcome, man. So I was like, all right, you're welcome, man. So, it was pretty dope, man. But let's jump right into it, man, because me and Speed was there enjoying every minute of it. And we're going to jump right into it, man. We're going to talk about the scrimmage that happened, man. And shout out to everybody that we met, by the way. And Speed, I just want to get your thoughts on that scrimmage game, and we're going to have El Jefe chime in as well. But let's just talk about the number one elephant in the room, I guess. What did you see from Daniel Jones, man? Tell the people.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's been like this all camp long. I feel like it's been one day up, one day down. One day up, one day down, and we got the down day. We got a down day. He looked off. The timing looked off. He was overthrowing people, specifically one play that we can talk about all the time. We've been talking about it for the week now, the Kenny Galladay throw, which, we'll get into a little bit more, but it was a little bit too much about it. But anyways, I thought the defense, Thibodeau looked great. Let's start with the positive thing here. Thibodeau looked great. Daniel Jones, not so much. And I keep trying to preach this to everybody here. This is going to be a roller coaster for the next 2 weeks, at least 3. And I said 8 weeks. I'm like, I quoted, I was talking to my man Authentic the other day, and I quoted Bruce Arians. He said, it's going to take 3 to 4 games into the season for you to see the actual product that you can be happy of when you're installing a new offense. So imagine all the shit for the last 2 years that Daniel Jones is trying to erase from his mind, a new playbook, new steps back, new 7-step drops, 3-step drop, motion everywhere. It was a bad day, and it was a forgettable day once we got in the stadium. Outside the stadium, awesome time hanging out with everybody.
Was it not the same vibe as last year?
Same vibe.
Where
the
tailgate was epic.
Yes.
And yet last year it had like we're out of COVID kind of feel to it.
Right. It was
people just ready to rage.
Right.
TK actually brought COVID to that tailgate. He found out the next day he had it, and Spiro, you should have got it. I don't know how you didn't get it.
We hugged a lot too. I don't know how I didn't get it, but oh god. What did you think, man? I mean, we met a lot of good people though, right? It was fun on that aspect. Though,
well,
right?
listen, Fan Fest was amazing, man. Freaking, we met a whole lot of people, man. A whole lot of fans of the Revival. So shout out to them, man. It was truly amazing because that was my first time heading to a Fan Fest like that, to that nature. Usually I kind of went with the family, stuff like that years ago. But heading there as Eli Rex, aka Vibes, heading into that and as what New York Revival has became was surreal, man. Like I didn't grasp the idea of that people wanted to shake my hand and take pictures. So just that was humbling in itself. So I had a great time, man, especially meeting Bobby Skinner for the first time, LPG for the first time. And I talk to these guys all the time, but just meeting them face to face pre-COVID, after COVID, forgive me. It was just an amazing thing. Even down to the scrimmage. I was sitting there with my cousin on the left, Spee all the way on the left with Pest as well. And just speaking with my guy, Nicky.
Me and Pest got after it.
What, bro? We're breaking down cover ones, cover zone, what the defense was doing, and I have to tell you, man, I have to agree, man. Just watching Daniel Jones, it was very, in lack of a better word, it was underwhelming. It was kind of a concern because when you look at it, if this was, and I told people, if this was an open competition. Right now, my man, forgive me. I don't know why I think of his like Tyrod Taylor. Forgive me. Yeah. Tyrod Taylor can easily, be competitive to Daniel Jones if this was open. If the coaches said, you know what, this is going to be an open QB competition. Tyrod Taylor can actually make a case for himself because he looked great in that pocket. He moved around. He extended the plays as much as he could. His accuracy, of course, is still an issue, but Daniel Jones looked just as bad as far as accuracy is concerned. Daniel Jones improved on a couple things, guys. And the one thing he improved on was running. As his time went off in his head, he understood that he scrambled well. He did it extremely well.
Not even scramble. He avoided the rush and kept his eyes downfield. You don't see Daniel do that much. Like
really, no,
it was a little. Yeah, it was a little sketchy at times because he looked a little. But you could tell there's a focus now of moving around the pocket, keeping your eyes downfield. Which that was if you take nothing else from that, that's a positive.
That's a positive. But here's another thing too that Daniel Jones has to work on. He's still staring down receivers, right? And he's still holding the ball a little bit too long because there was some plays where they got to that quarterback. That defense looked really fun to watch. That defense looked like they're fighting. Leonard Williams is going to be a monster this season, man. I really do think so. Leonard Williams is causing havoc. And then you still have Thibodeau that has great burst off that line that can get to the quarterback as well. So that defense looked pretty good. And you know what? The one thing I thought I was concerned with when I put a tweet out is that cornerbacks, man. They actually stepped up pretty well and held it down a little bit there on the short yardages. But when it came to the deep ball, they was getting cooked. So that's another thing that they have to look at as well. But overall, man, Fan Fest was amazing, man. Forgive me for dragging this thing out too long. But overall, the experience was great, man. But there's a lot of things taken from that scrimmage, which we'll go into a little bit later. But, gents, I'll say this.
I'm going to say one thing here. And I don't know, again, I don't know if this is the way Dable rolls or not. You think there's any bit of – they didn't run a ton of motion if I was, like, looking correctly. I didn't see any jet sweeps. I didn't see any wildcat. Was it a little bit of you think like let's hold back and not really show everybody what we're going to unleash on everybody in the next couple of weeks? It
was definitely situational. Yeah, it was situational football. I think they were putting the offense. And again, guys, when we talk about because a lot of people are going to be like, well, you're bashing. We're not bashing anything. It's just right now, if we take everything that we see right now, of course, we're going to criticize and give you guys what our thoughts are. Of course, we understand this is a very vanilla offense. It's an install. So to get back to what Speed is saying, of course, this is situational football. They just want to put the offense in an uncomfortable situation to see what they can do. And that's exactly what I took from it, is that, all right, they put the offense, because mostly the defense was cover one man, mostly that entire, practice there. So they put the offense in a situation to see what they can do. And either they did their thing or they crapped the bed. You know what I mean? But of course, they didn't release everything all in one shot at that scrimmage. But I can't wait to see what more they could do.
I am happy to hear you guys say that Jones was a little bit quicker on his feet, not necessarily, design running plays, but extending plays, right? If the pressure and if the pocket breaks down, he skips out and you give him time to find Wandale and Tony. Those guys are going to be open if you extend plays. I think that trait alone is going to be a huge factor in how this season goes for Daniel Jones. If he's able to kind of master that, like almost, I'm using this name not to compare, but just to say Aaron Rodgers is so good at this. Extending the play. He's not like a threat to run with his legs, but he can move if he has to. But he's great at getting out of the pocket and then slinging it, like which is the flick of the wrist, right?
All the time, right? Yeah,
Jones, that's if he could just take Jones a little bit of that.
Yep, and whenever Jones was running, he was running to take off and run downfield. He was not looking up. He kind of like he panicked and he's out, which young quarterback happens in.
And it's funny. That's exactly what I thought. Like some of the plays that he ran were designed. Don't get me wrong. There was certain plays on it that was designed for him to run, but there was like, I gotta run and I gotta do something. It wasn't like fluent enough to where he can extend the plays. Because when he did try that, he overthrew it. I think he missed a Wandale in the corner of the end zone going down where he kind of overthrew it and Wandale couldn't catch it. I think that was one of the plays. Correct me if I'm wrong, Speed. But it was just like, man, he just couldn't. Like it was like, all right, it's coached. And I remember telling the people next to me, man, and I was like, yo. Daniel Jones is a coachable quarterback. He doesn't have the natural instinct.
Yes. If there's one thing it's coachable.
He's coachable. Like if you tell him, hey man, 5 seconds throw the ball, he's gonna do it. But to have that natural ability, like an Aaron Rodgers, to go, man, I gotta tiptoe back just a little bit to extend the play.
Right.
He doesn't have that, or Pat Mahomes, and that's what I think can separate the elite.
Even Eli would always move around the pocket.
He will always sidestep.
He wasn't gonna run. Right.
In the good years, yes. He had no choice in the later years, but
yeah, he had to duck and throw. You know what I mean? But even then, they were accurate. You know what I mean? But Eli Manning, even he had that little fluidity in the pocket a little bit. You know what I mean? This is what separates elite quarterbacks, is how they can extend plays. And that's a whole nother subject that I won't get into. But just seeing that, I'm like, man, he still has – the fact that he does take off a little bit is awesome. That shows, okay, they coached him to do that. But again, it wasn't fluent to where he just thought, it didn't look natural at all. It was just like, 5 seconds is up, I got to run because the coaches told me. You know what I mean?
And you can tell they're beating it into his head. They're like, 3 steps and then move around. You like feel the rush, and he's never had to do that before. Like I feel like the other coaches didn't really tell him to do that. They're like, take the sack or throw it away or don't throw it into coverage. He is relearning everything from the and you could tell he's throwing off his back foot weirdly. He's thinking too much. You could tell.
Absolutely.
That's why I try to tell everybody. Just deal with the bullshit right now because there's a lot of bullshit that's going to happen. Judge and fucking Garrett, they had shit in his mind for 2 years, and he did what they told him.
Exactly.
Don't
to
put the ball in harm's way. Never do it. And he didn't do it to his detriment. And now we have the guy saying, Dave saying, rip the Band-Aid off, put the ball in harm's way. Like imagine like a total change of mindset, opposite change of mindset. This guy has to recalibrate.
You got to unteach him before you teach him.
Yes,
exactly. And then and Hefe will ask you about camp too, because you actually sat down in camp. But when you look at Tyrod Taylor during that scrimmage, you see him move like it looks fluent. Like it looks like he knows the playbook. He looks like a veteran quarterback. And to say Daniel Jones isn't, I can't say that because he got 4 years in the league now. Like at this point, you're not a veteran. You should kind of get this thing going a little bit. You know what I mean?
Like the quickest trade, I would just say the difference between the two at the practice I went to last Wednesday was that when DJ went back in the pocket, he kind of looked like, oh shit, like where am I supposed to go with the ball? Whereas Tyrod was like deep, I know where I'm going.
Yeah,
and like and that was kind of just the easiest way to break the two apart. And like DJ's ceiling, we hope is much, much higher because we know what Tyrod Taylor is.
Well,
but in terms of their comfort level, that's what it looked like from the bleachers. That's all I mean.
And is there any bit of second unit difference? Like you're dealing with the second unit defense. You're dealing with not the there's a little bit of that. I don't know how much of that, but
a little bit because Thibodeau is in the backfield
every play.
Every single play.
Yeah.
He's either getting held. He's either getting held or he's in the backfield.
Listen, that offensive line is still a concern for me because they were penetrating.
It's going to take
holding.
Time.
They were time. So it takes some time. Now, listen, guys, we're not pushing the panic button. We're not pushing the panic button. We understand this is a progress. You know what I mean? Or a process. But man, like just taking what we saw is just like, ooh, they got some work to do. And I don't know if it's going to be week 3 or at preseason. They got to figure a lot out before the season.
They need all the reps.
They need every last rep.
Let's talk about that because Dave's, unlike dumbass Judge and Garrett is like, these starters are playing. They need to get every snap in. We need every single rep. Every single rep counts from now until week 1. Like, I don't care if they're playing against the 4th stringers that are not going to be NFL players. Doesn't matter. I want them in the games. I want them in for at least a quarter, almost every game. Like,
absolutely.
I could see first game, maybe a series or 2. After that, quarter, half, every game, half. You know, like, do it.
And Hefe, correct me. I mean, you looked at camp and everything. I just want to go touch on Saquon Barkley a little bit, the guy that everyone kind of almost forgets about. Tell me what you saw about Saquon Barkley, because through that scrimmage, I'm gonna give me and Speed's gonna give our opinions when we see. But just tell me and take the people through what you saw in Saquon Barkley as well.
He looks so ready to break out. I don't know how else to say it. The dude looks like a tank out there. He's so light on his feet. The one thing I liked that he was doing, there wasn't any dancing in the backfield. There was one cut and up. And granted, I know that this wasn't heavy tackling. This wasn't real football. But on plays where they got him in space and he made one cut and turned upfield, he's got that gear back. He's completely got that gear back where it's just like, see ya. Like, he's going to be a home run hitter again. And I think, and what I saw in practice when they got in the red zone, they were going like 4 wide, bringing Saquon from the right side to the backfield and then moving him out to the left. So the defense was like, what the hell? Like, the defense was like bringing blitzes and Saquon's walking into the end zone. So they're going to be so much more creative in the red zone, and Saquon is going to be a huge, huge part of it. And he looks.
We're all ready to get hurt again. We're ready to get hurt again. Like, I don't care. Like, let's just let it go.
At practice, he made me a believer, which is why I put this jersey back up.
Yes,
I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be a Giant next year. Nobody knows, but I am rooting for him big this year. He worked his ass off to get back healthy. Stupid ankle injury. Now he's back again, but he's healthy. There's no doubt about it, and he looks ready. Looks ready to run.
And you know what helps?
Saquon
having
looks
a big
amazing.
right tackle. Tackle in the red zone, ready to maul people. You see that video, Neil, the other day? Just taking, I forget who it was. It was Quincy Roach, I think. Took him 15, 20 yards into the end zone and just deposited him into the ground. And that is what's been missing. Now you have 2 guys that could do that, with Glowinski in the middle. Like, they have some thickness in there now. Some run.
They've been creating holes. I don't know. Listen, they've been creating holes for Saquon.
Yes.
Hands down. Like,
Eli,
Saquon
real
looks
quick.
amazing.
We opened up the lines and we got a few people. I know we have our special guest.
Yeah, that's what I want to definitely. Yeah, let's get some callers in, man. I know we've been talking a little bit, but guys, let's get your opinion. Don't forget to hit that link. It's a call-in show, so call in, give us your opinion, especially on this topic before our guest comes in. But who's the first caller we got?
So I know we got Nate and Monty back here. I'm just gonna pop on Jared real quick. I'll let him introduce himself because this guy, I met him recently on the Shakedown show. Are you the producer? Is that the official title? You're the producer?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
That's why it's looking so dope.
What's going on, man?
How are you
the
guys?
mic is yours. Go
Man,
for it.
thank you for joining the show. How's everything? I know he popped in and out on the Shakedown. Shout out to the Shakedown, man. Pod. That's awesome, man. So yeah, man. Thank you for coming on, man. What you got?
Well, 2 things I had to say. El Jefe, the November Rain parody was so great. I mean, as a Giant, I'm old enough, like that music is relevant to me. This is not Kadarius Toney. This is Mark Bavaro.
Yes,
it's good either way. Yeah,
OG 89. Yeah,
yeah. I just had to thank you for that, and thank you guys, all of you, for coming on our show. I came in to support you guys and just to say, hey, I saw you had caller. I was like, let me pop on and just say, hey, man, Revival, we love you. New York Giants content creators can work together and do great things together. And we can appreciate what you guys are doing, man. And I agree with everything you guys were saying. The O-line scares me. The defense looks awesome. I'm not going to talk about the quarterback because I think it's chicken shit and lazy. So hopefully I can swear on your show.
Oh, yeah.
Let it fly.
Okay. I'm just drinking water because, I spent 25 years in the military, so I've drank enough for a lifetime.
Salute you, man.
Thank you for your service.
That's it, guys. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to pop in and just say, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Support you, and thanks for the content you're putting out there.
We love you, sir.
Thank you, man. We love you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you,
all
guys.
right, brother. Peace. Thank you, man.
Good man.
Let's
Good
see
man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good man.
This guy was ready to rock. Big Nate, what's up, my dude?
Yo, what is good?
We
What's
got
up, guys?
the GOAT. We got the GOAT in here.
Guys,
What's going on?
just since you mentioned it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Listen, guys, I'm ready to be hurt again. Okay, I'm ready to be hurt again. I have traded for him in the 2 fantasy leagues that I have already drafted him because I'm a psycho.
Smart.
And I am ready to believe. I'm ready to be hurt again. I'm ready to just endure that pain in week 4 when he tears his other ACL. I'm ready for it this time. Okay.
Why would you do that?
All right.
Don't do that, Nate. Don't do that.
That's not cool.
But Nate,
But
give us your thoughts, man. What's going on?
I mean,
first, Nate,
you guys
where
are
you going? Where are you going, or where are you coming from? Because we
Okay,
got a
so-
whole lot. Yeah, let's tell us
We got
about
some
that.
boxes going.
No, I like the
It's
decoration.
like a club. You building a clubhouse? What is that, man?
Listen, guys, I am coming at you. I am here in sunny Florida, where I just moved to. So
Hey,
I drove
Congrats, man.
1,500 miles in a day, about three weeks ago, give or take. And now I'm here in the new home for the next 6
Nice.
months, which is
Very
my parents
cool, man.
my parents are waiting for their house situation to get worked out, so we're in an apartment. And then
Hey,
in 7
dig it,
days, I'm
man.
going to
That's
college.
awesome.
Wow.
Oh,
7 days, I'm going to
man.
college.
Let's
go.
go.
Let's
You're
we
about
go.
to start.
Congrats,
You're about
brother.
to start college, right?
Yeah,
Where you
first
off to?
year.
All right, quick. Trade
I'm
places
going
with
to
me.
Yeah, please.
I'm going
Quick
to FAU in Boca Raton.
Nice.
I'm right
Congrats,
over in
man.
Deerfield Beach, so I'm gonna be hitting you up a couple of times, man. You're gonna show me around, and I'm gonna
Oh, yeah.
relive
Hell yeah.
my old college days. Okay?
Absolutely, bro. I got you. I
Please.
got you. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think
man.
y'all were hitting it in the head earlier with the run blocking on Saquon. I mean, I've said this before. People don't seem to remember this man in his entire career, high school, college, NFL, has not a single time ever had a run blocking offensive line. Not once. Not like a good offensive line. I mean, just a competent run blocking offensive line. Even when the Giants' offensive line in spurts has been decent, it's been the pass blocking that just hasn't been atrocious. The run blocking has continuously been garbage. Now we've got what seems like some pretty good run blocking going on up front in camp, and it looks like Saquon is actually hitting those gaps, which is fantastic. So if all goes according to plan, which it never will,
And
'cause
no
it's football.
dancing, Nate. We didn't see any
Yeah.
dancing, Nate. That's the great
Yeah.
part, too.
There was no
I mean-
dancing when he ran over Aaron Robinson. I'll tell you.
Listen,
that much.
he's saving the dancing for the end zone. We're good with that as Giants fans,
Yeah.
all right?
Hell yeah.
But if he can just keep that head down, stay healthy for the love of God, we should
please.
have enough of a run game to buoy that passing game, hopefully, and not get us absolutely killed in that phase of the game. But you never know. Obviously, with Daniel Jones, the subject of the stream, which just absolutely kills me, you never know what's going to happen there. We have a lot of questions that we're going to answer this year, which I know I was in the space with our boy Jeff, intentionally pronouncing it that way.
I introduced me as Jeffy.
In the space, they introduced him as Jeff, so that's his name now.
Yikes.
We got Jeff and
El
Vapes.
Jefe.
I love me some Jeff.
Jeff and Vapes.
Yep,
That's our boys up top here.
And
But
Sparrow,
I was
and Sparrow
yeah.
there, not
Oh
Sparrow.
my
Sparrow.
God.
There you
Don't even
go.
worry about
There you
my
go.
name. My
That's
name
the
is
boys.
Butcher.
That's the New York Revival boys. But in the space with Hefe, we were talking about this, and I'm just excited to not have to listen to this god awful, unbearable argument anymore. Because at the end of the day, once this season is over, thank God,
It's done.
we will no longer be talking about Daniel Jones arguments in the present tense. We will
Yes.
have the answer.
Yes.
No, whether
Yes.
it's one way or the other, whether it works or it doesn't, whatever you think,
Even if he's
it's
decent,
going to be over.
Even if
Right.
he's decent, it's over. Like
We
probably,
will have
like,
the answer.
He's
It's done.
not under contract next year. So
Right,
we will
exactly.
have a definitive answer. I mean, the worst case is a franchise tag because he does good, but not.
Right.
I doubt that
But-
very
but-
much, honestly.
but-
I
and
doubt
that-
it
and-
too.
But
Really? So I'm about saying that and I'm saying this to you guys now, and tell me, correct me if I'm. I mean, of course, give me the answer. But he gives you his rookie numbers plus two more touchdowns.
No.
Franchise tag.
already know.
Okay.
Hmm.
Then who?
What do you mean, then who?
Here,
Then who can
again,
replace him?
there's so many
Whoever the
factors. 'cause
QB1
look,
is.
look at the
Okay.
numbers. But look at the wins there. Like if he gets 8 wins, you're probably missing out on, or you're trading all these picks to move up. So it's a tricky situation. And
It is.
fact that
Oh.
I wish
Here's my thing.
before free agency.
Right, a lot of
And,
people always
that's what
wish that, yeah.
sucks.
I mean, this is another thing I said in the space with Hefe. The nice thing about this is that everyone always asks the question about Jones, and they couch it in this question of what does he need to do. And they always ask it in the frame of how many touchdowns does he need? What are the stats you're looking for? How many wins are the Giants going to get? Right. But we all know, we know this beyond any doubt. We know that one way or the other, when Daniel Jones plays hopefully 17 games this year, probably more like 15, but if he gets a nice long chunk of season and we actually see him play in this offense, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. We'll know simply by the eye test. Yeah. We'll know from how he plays. We'll know from how Dable talks about him. We'll know from just how the offense functions. So I think looking at this, a lot of people try and couch that in what are the numbers he needs to get? How many wins should the team get? And by the way, wins are not a quarterback stat. I'll die on that hill, but that's beside the point. Anyway, all those numbers that people throw out, it's just it's just not what the real point is here. We will know whether Jones is going to stick around or not. We'll know if he played well enough to.
And you know who else? Gabes and Kafka. Gabes and Kafka will know even more.
This is interesting from TK because think about what does he have to do? I don't think it's possible for him to. I don't think he can play well enough to earn an extension. You know what I mean? Like for them to say because quarterbacks get paid so much money, but he's like he doesn't have it yet. Like from scrimmage, from camp, he doesn't have it down yet. I don't care if it's just practice. It's possible to look good in practice. He doesn't. Oh, yeah. It's possible to look good in the scrimmage. Man. He didn't. So he's not. It's not just going to all flip when they have a real pass rush coming that they are allowed to tackle him. You know what I mean?
Sorry. I think what you're pointing out is very valid, and we're looking at this from the frame of obviously the question does deserve to be asked, as it always has been. Is Daniel Jones going to play that well? That's the main thing that we've been talking about for 3 goddamn years now. But I think when you're looking at it from this year, the point Hefe makes is good. The deck's stacked against him. Let's be real. He does not have to do from this point in his career what another quarterback at a similar point in his career would have to do in order to secure a spot. He has to do a lot more than that. Because like you point out, the economics of the league are such that a decent quarterback that a team settles for as their franchise guy is still going to get paid 25% of your salary cap. Kirk Cousins contracts every year. He's signing a new deal because they won't move on from the guy because they think he's good enough. He's not the problem, et cetera, whatever you think about it. But even when you're settling for that bottom of the top 10, top of the top 15 guy, you're still paying him a massive amount of your salary cap. And Super Bowl champions almost never have a quarterback getting paid a ton of money. It's just not that common. You look at what Tom Brady did for years in New England. He was taking salary cuts. And then you look at the guys that are winning Super Bowls. They're young quarterbacks on cheap deals, with the exception of the Rams, who are absolute dark wizards of the salary cap. Right. So from that perspective, it's tough to see Daniel Jones play. I thought you were going to say something a little different. I thought you were going to say, I can't see him playing well enough for a franchise tag, which I think that's impossible. I don't think you can play well enough to get a franchise tag because the franchise tag doesn't make sense in this situation. Brian Dable just came in.
Down the road.
Right. And Brian Dable and Joe Shane came in, and if you don't think they have a plan, you're out of your mind. This is a guy that came in, he evaluated the situation, and he's saying, okay, with Daniel Jones, we're going to give him this year, we're going to give him the opportunity to absolutely blow us out of the water. If he does, fantastic, more power to him. That's one less draft pick we have to make. But in, unfortunately, the very likely situation where he doesn't, and let's be real, he's been screwed out of that chance for a lot of years, in the situation where he doesn't, we know what NFL stands for. It doesn't stand for National Football League. It stands for not for long. And Daniel Jones, whether you think he got screwed or not, and I think a lot of people will agree that he got screwed, John Mara certainly thinks so, whether you think he got screwed or not, he might not have much longer in Giants blue. So
you're right.
I think it's tough to look at this and be expecting Daniel Jones to come back next year. You can hope for it, but I don't know.
They're going to put this team on Saquon Barkley's back. Let's be honest here. Again, we were watching the scrimmages and then we're doing pass situations heavy, but I'm just they're just resting Saquon because, again, guys, this is going to be a run offense first. They can't put the ball in Daniel Jones' hands, not for what I saw this far. I just don't see it. I just don't. And I'm playing devil's advocate when I say, hey, would y'all guys sign him for rookie numbers? I'm playing devil's advocate here. But if you guys look at and Nate hit it on the head, the simple eye test, and I'm going by the eyes of the Joe Burrows, of the Mahomes, and I'm comparing them. Yes, they're different guys, but they all kind of have the same nuances within each other, right? Daniel Jones just don't have that, unfortunately. And shout out to the Daniel Jones truthers. Guys, I get it. I want him to be the guy. I'm rooting for him to be the guy.
Giants
We all are
sooner if he is the guy.
I hope I'm wrong on this. I hope I'm eating crow for the entire freaking season.
Same.
But I just don't see it.
I'm with you.
And I'm team first, not Daniel Jones first. I'm the New York Giants first.
Pest says it best. He says, I am not married to a player. I'm married to the team. And that is the best way I've heard it put. Because Daniel Jones, we want him to be that guy. We so do. It saves you a first-round pick next year, and it means that you have your quarterback in place to start off the rebuild. It would be just absolutely fantastic. The difference in having a quarterback versus not at this stage in the rebuild is massive. Like, no one would look at you and say, I don't want Daniel Jones to be a franchise quarterback. And if they are, they're an idiot. But the problem is it takes so much this year for that to happen. It would take so much not going wrong for that to happen. Injuries to receivers, Jones figuring it out immediately from day one, the offense clicking under a completely new staff and guys that really haven't been in their coaching positions before on this offensive side of the ball, and that's something a lot of people aren't talking about. When you're looking at this team, there's not just so much that has to break right, there's so much that doesn't have to go wrong. And with the Giants, it's been going real wrong for a few years here, and we still have that goddamn turf.
Nate, go follow Nate. What's your handle? Is it Nate Talks Football? What is
Nate Talks Football?
Nate Talks Football. Simple enough. Hey. Feel free to hang out in the back, Nate. Thank you for stopping by. Yes. I still say you got to get your own podcast going.
Oh yeah, I'm planning on it once I get myself set up in a room that doesn't look like this.
No, it looks great.
Shout out FAU. Alex.
Shout out Nate, man. Thank you, Nate.
He gets it. He gets it. All right.
Nate's a good friend of the show. Feel free to hang out or pop on later if we're still rolling, but we want to get to our special guest. So thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate you.
Of the Giants Wire, and we do have C's. We have Monte. You guys hang out. If you're able to, we will certainly get to you. But we want to bring on John Fennelly. Eli, do you have like a special introduction? You're much better at this than I am.
No, not at all. Take it away. Right, this is all you, bro.
Bring him on. Up the Giants Wire.
Round of applause. Shout out to the Giants Wire. Thank you, John, for coming on. And shout out to the Giants Wire, man, for making this happen. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for spending your Tuesday night with us. How's everything?
Everything is just wonderful.
John, we need you to
ready to talk Giants. I've been doing it for 27 years now. So this hat I'm wearing is actually the 1999 version. It's the 75th anniversary of the Giants.
Wow.
Let's go. I wore it especially for you guys.
I appreciate it. Oh, man, it's great.
Get it here first.
Let me tell you, every time a special guest come on New York Revival, we always get something exclusive from them. So thank you so much for keeping that tradition. I appreciate it. And that goes for all future guests, hopefully. We don't plan it. It just happens. But thank you so much for being here. John, I add you in here because you're a guru of film. You break things down for the Giants Wire. There's been recently a video that kind of went viral of Kenny Golladay and Daniel Jones, where Daniel Jones kind of throws that thing out of bounds, or he just looked like he was inaccurate. So I want to give you a breakdown of what you think that video was and what happened and why does it look so bad to the public?
You must have seen it, right, John?
Yeah, the Mr. Glass half full version of that is that he was throwing it where only his guy could get it. The John Fennelly version of that is that's a typical Daniel Jones pass.
Oh, that's interesting.
When they drafted him, I tweeted out, you can look it up if you can find it. I said, this is a colossal error that they're going to pay for years.
Oh, man.
You don't take
how do you really
players from Duke. You take basketball players from Duke.
Or Dave Brown.
They got it
right. Or Dave Brown, right?
Case in point.
Yeah.
So give me a breakdown of what you saw in that play and why it was just a colossal failure. What made it that per se?
Well, he shouldn't have thrown the ball over that side of the field anyway. He's covered. I mean, why are you even trying to
is it possible
to thread the needle or having to throw it away? Look somewhere else. He doesn't check off at all. Somebody else had to be open.
He had a check down option
somewhere else.
A second later, he had a check down option. I know he felt some pressure coming, but I saw it, and I'm very critical of Jones.
I think we all are.
I'm completely approve it or get out of the way. I'm not a Jones truther or believer or anything like that. I want the Giants to win games, and we haven't won games with him. So That's how I feel about any player we haven't won games with. But like I see that play as at the last second, he may have saw that Galladay was covered. The corner got a step on the throw, and he knew if he threw it to Galladay, that's a pick six. That's going the other way. He doesn't want that to happen at FanFest. So he throws it in the dirt away, not even where Galladay could get it, because Galladay's moving half speed, if that. Like I just saw it as a throwaway, and that specific play. That's how I saw that, and I'll be happy to rip Jones on when I think he sucks.
It doesn't help, Hefe, that he's staring him down.
Yeah.
Okay. You one of these with the ball gets that cornerback off that receiver, gets him to stop or at least think. He just stares the guy down and throws it to him. I mean, Eli used to do that too. Used to drive me crazy.
Threw a lot of picks.
And then the receiver has to catch the ball with his back to the defense.
Yeah.
And he can't. There's no yards after catch possibility.
Well, here's what I worry about. And what we've been seeing in camp a lot of is that Kenny Galladay is getting zero separation right now. Zero separation, and everybody's just waiting on his curl routes and his little slants. And that's another part that worries me, because like you saw Adoree Jackson he was casually just staying with him, and he was ready to pick that and go to the house. So that's the second part that worries me. For me, it was partly a throwaway, partly a bad play, partly a Kenny Galladay slip that made it look even worse because he was further away because his back foot slipped. But yeah, I think it was a lot it was a lot of scrutiny for a random play on the 10th practice of the year, and we're just so ready to just.
And let me play devil's advocate too. And John, of course, we need your opinion on this as well. But I just want to play devil's advocate. It looked like it was a comeback route to the ball, and that Kenny Galladay slipped trying to get back to that, because I think it was a lazy route, and then Kenny Galladay wanted to go try to cut back to go back in as a comeback route, and it just kind of sailed away because he slipped. Would you say that, or you're just saying, hey, it's an error throw?
No, that could have happened on the play too. But the thing is that he locks into his primary receiver.
Yeah,
stares him down. He's not open. I mean, what happens? He's not throwing his receivers open. He never does that. He's got to hit the guys while they're in motion. Not coming back to him. I mean, that's a terrible call to begin with.
John, I like John's angle here. He's just straight. I said it was an error in the beginning. It's an error today. John, is there any chance Daniel Jones is a Giant next season?
Well, I'll tell you what. If you franchise tag him, he's got to have Mahomes-y numbers, and that's not going to happen.
Because then he only did it once, right? You're not going to give him an extension. He only did it once. Make him do it again.
You're looking at $30 million for 1 year.
And they do have
that's
space.
Quarterback franchise money in 2023, maybe even more.
Yeah.
So he's not worth that. He wasn't worth 22 this year for next year.
No. So, but think about it. The Giants, I think, are number 3 in the league when it comes to salary cap. They have a large salary cap
next season. Yeah,
next season. So you think that is on the table as far as keeping Daniel Jones if he has, let's say, a little bit under Patrick Mahomes' years? You think that that's feasible for them to do, at least franchise for one more?
If they're going to keep him, they're going to sign him to a long-term deal and defray it out, spread it out, so it won't be so painful.
I hope not.
They'll give him a 5-year deal. But
give me $10 million.
That's why I'm a fan of the franchise, and I know a lot of people don't want to go that way, but like I'd rather kick the can down the road one more year. And this is based on how many wins we have. Because if we have 5 wins and you're in position, if we have 6 wins, you're in position to draft your quarterback of the future.
Yeah.
If you get 8 wins, you start worrying about, hey, I'm taking my chances at that point, because all the good theoretically, theoretically, all the quarterbacks are supposed to be going, before you at that point. But there's so many factors here that I think the franchise tag comes into play, because there's no chance I'm giving him more than a 2-year deal. No chance. Like, and I don't think it works for either side. So franchise tag him maybe one more year if he puts up a very good season together. Very good season. Let's keep that in mind. Right. That's why I think it's
franchise tagging a quarterback is not the best strategy, no matter who the player is.
You're right, and it backfires.
You're going to pay an enormous amount of money for the 1 year. You're going to crush your cap. You're not going to be able to sign other free agents. And
the quarterback doesn't want that. It's not like the quarterback's going to be happy with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it'll be a nice pay raise for Jones, but it's not like
Jones is a nice guy. I feel like he'll be like, yeah, sure.
Dude, I keep saying that. Like, if you offer Jones $10 million a year to stay in New York, I feel like he'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, right.
But if you let him become a free agent, there will be a market for him. I don't know how much he'll be offered, but there'll be about 10 teams looking at him
right now, or if he has like that great year.
If he, first of all, he's not going to have a great year. It's not going to happen.
Well, he just found out.
You're about to have your mentions go nuts right now. Okay?
I will tell you serious too. I like the kid a lot. I think he has a lot of talent, but having the natural, the legs and the arm and all that, he's not a good quarterback. He doesn't understand what he wants to do when he gets to the ball. He's not Justin Herbert.
Yeah, for a Duke guy,
he sees something, he goes, "That's it, I got it."
Right. Oh, that's for sure. Right? He's not
Keenan Allen, it's you.
Spiro, thank you for just saying that, because Spiro said for a Duke guy, and you keep hearing all the time about how smart he is, but to be honest, I don't care what his SAT score is if he's not quick
or his Wonderlic pocket,
if he can't dissect defenses and know where he wants to go with the ball. I don't care how smart he is. Then you're not football smart. Like there's,
I mean, to me, he's got to show me a lot. He's got to show me that he has the improvisational skills to lead a team down the field without looking to the sideline. What's the next play? No, forget that. You see a lot of great quarterbacks. Justin Herbert came into the league when he got into his first game. The Chargers were a mess under Anthony Lynn, the head coach. They were a mess. They had no offensive line. They had a lot of injuries. Keenan Allen wasn't there. He didn't have anybody. Won that game against Kansas City. Yeah. Took that team on his back in his first game or second game, whatever it was, won the game. And I said, that's what you want to see. That's the Ernie Accorsi. Can you take me down the field and win me the game?
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's only a couple of those in the league. And unfortunately, there's a couple of those in the league. And if freaking Herbert would have came out 1 year earlier, Gettleman was ready to snatch him up. Wow. And this is the way that our lives have gone in the past decade. But I listen. I agree. Herbert is a dime a dozen. Sorry, not a diamond. Jones is a dime a dozen.
There it is.
Can he be a Tannehill? Like, can he be a Tannehill where if you put a nice unit around him, he could function as a slightly above game manager? And would people be okay with that? Would you be okay with it, Ryan Tannehill?
No. See, that the thing is that he's the 6th overall pick in the draft. Okay. That's, Josh Allen was 7th, right? I think the year before. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the kind of guy you need.
That's what you expect. Right.
The issue is you're not getting your money's worth there.
Favorite comment of the night from Jeremiah. Jeremiah here. He could be dumber than a bag of hammers if he throws 50 touchdowns. Like, exactly. Don't care.
So listen, and let me ask you this, because this is also another hot topic. A lot of Giants fans want Jimmy G. Right now, if you had the option, you're the general manager, you're Joe Shane right now, and you had the option to take on Jimmy G with his woes, would you take on Jimmy G or keep Daniel Jones, in your opinion, John?
Garoppolo? Yeah, he doesn't fit what the Giants want to do on offense. He can't move.
Right.
So, he's a pocket passer, a stationary quarterback who gets hurt a lot. You're going to have to take on a big salary. And what do you got to give up for him? I wouldn't give up more than the 3rd rounder for him.
Right. And he's just another.
San Francisco has to get rid of him.
He's not the answer. Right. And even like you said, can Jones become a Tannehill? I think Tennessee is like, we got to upgrade, right? Like they've seen how far they can go. You need a quarterback, man. Like
even the 49ers want to upgrade, right?
The 49ers knocking on the Super Bowl's door. They want an upgrade. It's crazy.
That's the part about being in quarterback hell. You have to be very bad to get your top guy, or you have to have somebody fall that you take a chance on. Like, you need that raw guy, like a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, somebody that you can take a chance on later, and it's got to be a perfect moment. I mean, I hope it happens, man. I hope.
Well, let me say this, John. Who's the better quarterback, Jimmy G or Daniel Jones?
Oh, Garoppolo is much better than Jones.
Wow.
Jones, you talking about?
Dude, I think Jimmy G is a massive upgrade over Daniel Jones.
Oh, he's a very good quarterback. The thing is he's got to be in the right offense.
That's
he's in the best offense. He's got the best offensive coordinator in the league right now, and he's put up pretty pedestrian numbers. I don't get the love for Jimmy G. I'm sorry. That's my take.
They love to run the ball, and that's what they do. They have 3 running backs. They just pound the ball. He throws off the run. He does a little play action. He can move out of the way once in a while, but he's not a 21st century quarterback by any stretch. But he can win you game. Obviously, he was 3 points from the Super Bowl last year. So
he's in obviously a like way better situation. Like it's not even close. He's in an ideal situation. But when he's in the pocket, he looks like he doesn't have crazy arm strength, but he looks very decisive. Like he knows what he's doing. He knows where he's going every time. He commands that. Like he took that team where they needed to go.
Yeah. For one thing I'll say. Look what a great coordinator did for Jimmy G. He's made him into a viable option. I am biased because I don't think he's a great quarterback right now, but a great offensive mind schemes up awesome offense, and you get open throws. You get. When was the last time we've seen an open throw in the New York Giants offense? I can't even remember.
They don't know how to clear out a zone, and they don't know how to get separation. The only guy who can get separation is Tony, and he doesn't know where he's going on his routes. That's how he gets separation.
Yeah,
he got to work on his route running. I agree. I totally agree.
Disciplined player, and he shouldn't have been taken in the first round either. By the way.
Ooh, hey, John is coming with the spice, and I love it. That's what we love about this. I love it.
So let me ask you this, John, and I'm gonna ask you this one question, and then we'll let you run. Obviously, it's getting late in the show, and thank you so much for doing this.
Sure.
But looking at the camp right now, who's your dark horse coming out of there that can have potentially a good season?
Oh, I like a lot of their draft picks. I think they drafted very well. I think you'll see Thibodeau and Neal. Either one of them could have been the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So they got both of them, which is amazing.
Amazing.
Wan'Dale Robinson, we don't know a lot about him, but he could end up being a good player for them. The whole thing is they got to give him the opportunity to get him the ball. Got to get the touches. Bellinger, of course, we like. Everybody likes Bellinger, and he's showing why they drafted him in the 4th round. It was a very good tight end class this year.
Mm-hmm.
So people forget that if you're the 8th tight end taken, that's not a bad thing in this class.
Yeah.
I agree. It was very rich.
He didn't show a lot of offense in college, but the coach was Brady Hoke, who used to coach at Michigan.
Yes.
And Hoke was like, this guy can catch the ball. We just didn't throw it to him.
They were run first, run second, run third.
He caught everything. The one guy that I'm really interested in seeing is Darius Beavers from Cincinnati. He's kind of a big guy. He can play inside and outside. I think he has a lot of talent, and I think you're going to see him get a lot of reps early on this year. And you're seeing it now in practice. He's out there. Yep. He's just one of those guys who has a nose for the football. So I'm interested to see how he progresses.
Agreed.
Awesome.
Agreed.
Thank you so much, John, for spending your Tuesday night with us.
Please,
everybody, go follow John right now. You see his ad right on the screen. He's from the Giants Wire. Of course, we know the Giants Wire. We're a Giants community. Go support their stuff as well, guys. And it's elite. Thank you so much for spending your Tuesday night with us, John. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me, guys. And have a good season. Good luck.
You're the man, John. Thank you.
Appreciate you, John. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Take care now.
Take care. Man, some great stuff. Great stuff.
I just want to say one funny thing here. So there's a shady strip club by me out in my in the Poconos.
Weird transition, bro. Okay.
Yes. Well, it's called. Listen, it's called Leave It to Beavers. Leave It to Beavers. And this is how great is that name? How great is that name? And
that's going to be on a T-shirt.
I can't get that out of my head when I talk about Darius Beavers. I just can't get it out of my head.
Now I'm never going to get that in my head either.
I'm going to take y'all with me. It's one of those the grimy ones, but a fun time. Leave It to Beavers. Let's start a shirt. Leave It to Beavers, and we'll have Darian's face right on the middle. But I'm Darius Beavers' #1 fan. He is Blake Martinez's possible replacement next year. Watch out for that. Keep that in mind. I want Blake to stay healthy, but if you could get rid of him in his salary, and a guy like Darius Beavers comes up and can replace him for 3/4 of the play, that's a trade-off that you might have to do.
Me and Nate are on the same page on this one. Leave it to Beavers, and then his likeness on the shirt, not his name, because we're not paying for that, but his likeness.
Correct.
It's true.
I agree.
It's true.
So, guys, let me go to one topic, and then we'll get to the last two callers. We'll make it quick as we're wrapping up the show. We're going to go with a little bit of Darius Slayton, man, because me and Speed, I'm sure as you, El Jefe, saw this past camp and his scrimmage. He's not just on the ones. He's on the twos and the threes. And, boy, did we see him struggle. So I just want to get y'all thoughts and also the callers' thoughts of what the hell happened to Darius Slayton, guys. And I'm starting with you, El Jefe. Talk to me, man.
Take it away.
He lost his mojo. Right? I mean,
the aliens took his powers from like Space Jam. Like that's happened.
Exactly.
He touched the ball. That was it.
Yes.
I was thinking Austin Powers. Like the mojo is gone.
Yeah.
But rookie year, you get a 5th rounder that comes out for 8 touchdowns and has rapport with, like him and Daniel Jones were running with the twos in camp. Eli was still there. We thought Eli was going to have a season, not game 3. Daniel Jones, you're up, pal. But he turned Darius Slayton, and your team becomes so much better when you hit on those later round picks. So like that's why we're all high on Darius Slayton. Got speed. He was getting open. He had rapport with Daniel Jones, and I think DJ still likes him, and he has good rapport there. But Slayton just with these drops, I don't know. Now he's getting buried because we got these younger guys that are just way more dangerous and reliable. Like seemingly like Wan'Dale Robinson is running consistently with the ones. That dude is getting playing time from Jump Street. So it's going to be interesting. I think he winds up probably making the
Is he on a team?
I think
you
so.
think he's on a team? Okay.
I think he is because of that rapport. He's still on a rookie deal. It's not like it's a long-term thing. It's, he's not expensive at this point. It's just, I'd rather him over CJ Board. If you're asking me that.
You never fail to throw a CJ Board in there, and that's why I respect you, Hefe.
Any opportunity. I love
it.
But I think, gentlemen, he has to play special teams, can he? Forgive me if
No, he cannot. He cannot. He's not a gunner.
He's on the bubble.
Listen, just because CJ Board is on special teams doesn't mean he's special or actually helping us.
Listen, I'm going to quote Michael Strahan. When we watched that scrimmage games, the ball was beating him up. We were like, beat him up, ball. Yeah. Beat him up. They were beating him up, man. He was dropping balls left and right at that scrimmage. Make some sense of this here.
Let me say this. I will say this, and I've been a noted Slayton, kind of not hater, but I've been giving him a lot of shit in the past 2 years. A lot of shit. He's come on the past couple of practices. He's had some pretty decent catches, and I'm seeing less drops in the past couple of practices.
He caught a bomb from Tyrod today.
Yes, maybe right. Maybe starting to feel the heat.
Imagine that.
I still think in a perfect world, and I've been talking about this with some other guys on the chat here. Chicago Bears have lost 2 wide receivers in the past 3 days. They have an offensive lineman in Jenkins that we could use, an interior offensive lineman that the Giants could use. He's fallen out of favor over there. Let's do a little swapsies, Let's do a little fucking swapsies. And I just hope that Slayton is showing up on Thursday. Give me a TD. Give me one deep bomb. But then there's the other part of me that worries here because you got injury-prone Kenny Galladay. Injury-prone Kadarius Toney, who's already didn't finish the practice again today. You have, I don't even know if Shep's coming back. There's so many injury-prone wide receivers on here that
fair point.
He's not the worst option you could fall back on if
we know who the worst. We know who the worst option is.
Yeah, and he's in a better offense now. Oh, so CJ Board, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But it's not as easy as a situation as it looks like from the outside because, again, the injuries. But can you get a 5th pick? Would you be okay with a 5th round pick for Slayton?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kind of would be too.
Hit the restart.
Absolutely.
Hit the restart on another 5th rounder.
Exactly. That's what he worked. That's what he's worth.
Because that's a cheap contract that if you hit on again, Darian Beavers say, he was a 6th round pick. Like if you hit on that pick, you reset the clock with a cheap contract, and that is the name of the game in the NFL. So, listen, if it's a 7th round pick, I'll take my chance.
Darius Slayton is not getting no significant playing time, so give me that 5th rounder.
Agreed.
That's what I think.
What do you think, man?
Listen, man, I'm just shocked how the fall just oh my goodness. Like Darius Slayton was that guy at one point, right? We was like, ooh, we struck gold, 5th round, and we struck gold. And boy, he fizzled out, man. He fizzled out. His hands just aren't the same. His vision
He
just
never
isn't
worked good.
the same.
That's why he was a fifth-round pick.
You're right.
That's why he was a
fifth
round pick. He was bad at Auburn. And I was like, oh, my man put like the elephant, the glue from what was it, Talking Giants when he was wearing
Little Giants.
No, little Giants. Sorry, not Talking Giants. My bad.
He's a Little Giant. What is it, Icebox, bro? What is this?
Yeah, But that's why he was a fifth-round pick. So sorry, he decided to cut you off.
No, don't worry. But you know what though? But you're absolutely right, Speed. Forgive me, man. I gotta cater to. He was good while he was there at that particular round, but now it's time to move on from him. He's showing exactly why he was a fifth-round pick. Unfortunately, we thought he could be one of those special guys, and unfortunately, he just fizzled out, man. And I hate to see it because he's such a great kid. But again, we like the Giants. We can move on for certain players, but. Guys, you want to open up the phone line? Say to call us for the last two guys here.
Let's bring Monty. But I just real quick, did you guys see that fight that happened between a couple ladies arguing about Daniel Jones? This shit was wild.
Yo,
let's see it.
Did you see this?
Let's see that, man. Let's see that.
You know what, honey? Daniel Jones is trash, and he's always going to be trash. Still should have waited for Herbert.
Wow.
Dude, it's. In these streets, it is dangerous.
No, you can't talk about that's how sensitive a topic Daniel Jones is right now. You bring that shit up in the public, you're gonna get punched in the face. You better be ready.
That's real. That lady needs to be locked up. All right,
dude. DJ truthers are a scary breed. All right, you can't just like say shit in public. You better be ready. Monty, how we doing, my brother?
What's going on, Monty?
What's up, boys? That's giant Twitter in a nutshell right there. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, brother?
Thank
you so much for your time.
How we doing,
I don't got to do the whole big thing for you, man. You a revival, brother. Come on in here, man.
What you want to talk about, Monty? You have anything on your mind? You have anything you want to talk about?
I wanted to jump a little bit onto that Darius Slayton topic.
Stills Army from the top rope. Let's go.
You know
Get him out of the way, Sills.
You know I want my boy to make the team, but I gotta say, for Slayton, you can't just get rid of Slayton. He's too valuable at this point. I mean, I know he's not what he used to be, but even him as a bench player is better than most people's fourth, fifth wide receiver. But I gotta think there's a trade market out there, and like you guys said, like if you can get the reset button, get a fifth round pick. I'm gonna get two really good years out of Slayton, a third question mark year, ups and downs, and get your fifth round back. That's a win. Those are the types of picks I'll sign up for all day.
I mean, Darius Slayton has a highlight reel. You know what I mean? Like I could package that up and sell it and just leave out the bad shit.
Hell yeah! I mean, listen, he's got some TDs under his name. He's got production in the NFL, and that's the tricky part. So it's like, all right, so where's your line? Like 6th round pick or 7th round pick? Are you saying no to the 7th? Or, are you saying no to the 6th?
He's a 5th. I think that's the best you can get for him.
5th is your
That's it. I can't go any lower. I think 5's got to be it.
This is kind of a good point from Richard, hopefully related to Aaron and not Joe. But he says you better ball out in the first preseason game, and like preseason could be the deciding factor for Darius Slayton because if Tony's a little nicked up or whatever, and he gets some time with the ones, that could be his chance, and that could be the difference in him making the team or not. Like I do think he's on the bubble right now.
And who's the guy that takes the top off of defense right now? Who is it in this wide receiver corps?
Who can top off a D? Huh? Who knows how to top off a D?
That was almost worse than the Will Presty and I love the way he says the hard D. I'm like,
I love the hard D.
I love the hard D in there in Detroit. Like, whoa, pause. And Spiro's going down the line. It's hilarious. Shout out to Will Presty, by the way.
Listen,
what's wrong, dude?
It's facts though. Like we don't have a burner. We don't like Tony is quick, but he's not fast. You have Wan'Dale Robinson, quick, not fast. Galladay's not a burner. Slayton is the guy that is your deep ball specialist. And unfortunately, that's something you got to keep in the back of your mind. He opens up the field.
We don't got John Ross no more. No, I'm kidding. I'm messing with you. Go ahead. I'm messing with you. But he's that guy to do it. Like that's what we talk about, taking the tops off defense, right? Pause. Right? Just in case. Like you're talking about the Slayton, you're talking about the John Ross, and we really don't have that. We really don't. To answer your question, Speed, you're absolutely right.
And be
If
honest,
you guys don't mind, Monty, continue to hang out with us, and I want to bring C's on. C's is great in the Twitter Spaces. I like this guy. Come on, C's. Come on, C's.
What's going on, brother?
I missed you guys the last couple of ones, but
yeah, man, it's this it right here.
Have you back.
What are you guys drinking?
I'm going Corona. I'm still feeling summertime. I'm going Corona here.
All right,
I'm embarrassed.
I got a spiked iced tea from South Jersey Sea Isle. So
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I ain't gonna hold you, man. I've been on my fitness kick, so it's just water mixed with Gatorade. That's terrible. I know.
Yeah, you saw Eli at FanFest. Dude is jacked. Like you drink beer on a Tuesday and then get looking like that. C's, where are you at with Darius Slayton?
So this is my train of thought. I think that we're thinking about it differently, right, guys? So Darius Slayton was great when we had the Preston Parkers of the world on our team, right? So, right, when we had the dregs of the world, we're signing guys that, just came off the streets. Darius Slayton was a fresh of breath air. We were like, wow, we got to throw this guy the ball because we damn sure can't throw it to Evan Ingram. So like when Darius Slayton was balling, it made sense, right? But when you look at the talent on NFL teams, right, your fourth receiver, maybe your fifth receiver, it's not a Darius Slayton. It's just not. So when I look at him basically being with the threes, he's right where he should be technically, right? Because when you look at the way the wide receiver room is structured right now, you have Galladay, right? Solid, or at least should be solid. Tony and Robinson, right? Early round picks. Those guys are going to be your yak guys. They're going to get the ball. They're going to move the chains, right? Then you've got Sterling Shepard that's going to come back, hopefully, as a mentor. Maybe even
he's looking good, though. He's looking good.
Right. So I just
always does in the summer.
I just gave you four, right? I just gave you four, right? Those four guys, no special teams aside for Wandell and Tony on punt returns, right? Then I'm going to give you the homegrown talent that they brought over from Buffalo, which is Richie James, who they're well familiar with and who they know and who they like.
Okay,
so right there, that's five alone. Five alone.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not even going to talk. I'm not going to talk cap. I'm not going to talk drop balls. I'm not going to talk any of that. Once you start to get better talent at the top, it pushes what once was the best talent to the bottom. So unfortunately for Darius Slayton, we've gotten better at wide receiver. So for him to still be on the team, it's kind of like we're going backwards. Like, I don't know. Yeah, would he be a great sixth receiver? Absolutely. A great fifth? Absolutely. But if you look at the Bills, man, they had Cole Beasley. They had Gabriel Davis, Stephon Diggs.
Manny Sanders last year.
Yeah, Isaiah McKenzie, right? Isaiah McKenzie was their fourth guy. That's saying a lot, right?
Makes some good points. You brought up Richie James. I'll just say real quick, I went to practice last week. That dude flashed, I would say, no less than 3 times, like crazy fast.
Right. So
he's got some stats to his name.
And when I look at the team and I look at the makeup, right? And you guys hit the nail on the head. I loved it when you guys brought on John Fennelly. I was agreeing with you guys in the background so much. Daniel Jones is not going to step aside, buy some time, and say, oh, my goodness, look at that guy running a post. I'm going to buy a half more second and fling it down the field. That ain't the way this offense is working this year, boys. It just ain't. As good as our offensive line could be, as good as I think that the run game will be, I think those deep shots, those Jason Garrett type deep shot plays where it's like I'm calling a 9 route and it's going that way regardless.
He had deep shots?
No, he didn't. No, he did not. You know what I mean? I just think that's ultimately the way I think the offense will be a lot of 15 and ins, 15 and outs, a lot of intermediate stuff, moving the ball, within 10 to 13 yards or 8 to 13 yards every single throw. You guys asked another quick question. I don't mean to hold you guys up.
No, keep going.
I love Steez, what you got? Steez, sorry. I asked you that.
Steez, go ahead.
What do you want to talk about? What's your thing? And Monty, jump in anytime.
Go ahead,
we'll get back to Monty too.
Me, man.
No, that's all good. Go ahead, Steez.
I was just going to piggyback off of what you guys said. Literally, you guys have talked about Daniel Jones and whether or not he was going to, what was it? Get a franchise tag, right? I brought this up. I brought this up in another Twitter space. If the Bears let go of Mitch Trubisky, why the hell would we want to hold on to Daniel Jones?
Fair.
And it's Mitch who put together a 12-4 season.
Right.
I agree.
And they told Mitch bye.
Beat the Packers and won the division.
Right.
They
told
said goodbye.
Mitch, take your bags, move it along.
Great point.
So when I look at contemporaries and colleagues and who's on Daniel Jones's level, I think Mitch Trubisky, and if Chicago, who has been starved for a quarterback, that took a quarterback early in Mitchell Trubisky, moved on from Mitchell Trubisky, we need to move on from Daniel Jones. He's just not it.
Here's what I'll say on that. And again, you're right. You're right 100%. It's so tough because there's so many factors again. And again, what do you do if he wins 8 games for you? Does the wins not matter? Do you try to run it back if he has a good season? And because you're not going to be in position to draft your quarterback, and the free agent list out there, if you take a look next year, it ain't great. So are you just hoping upon hope that you're going to trade up for somebody, or that someone falls, or you just do you run it back with a guy one more year? That's where I get in this tricky situation. And I don't want to sound like a Daniel Jones truther here because I am very
kind of smell like one. I'm just saying.
I know. This is why this keeps I keep getting labeled as one, and I'm just trying to think of a situation that I don't know what's going to happen if he throws 30 counts for 30 touchdowns, keeps his turnovers down, and they win 8 games. What do you do in that situation? Everybody thinks that it's probably not going to happen, but
no.
24 in 12 games his rookie year.
I legitimately think if this man went out through 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns, he's still gone.
No way.
And I'm not saying that from a position of has he gotten better. I'm saying that from a position of I think that the GM and the coach are finally lockstep. And they came in and said, it doesn't matter what this kid does. We're going
Why'd you bring him back, though? Why are we bringing him back then?
Rookie deal, and who else? What else are we going to do?
You could have drafted. There was somebody. There was a couple quarterbacks that went in the 2nd, 3rd round this year.
I think this was a house money. This was a house money year. I think the owner said Daniel Jones gets one more year. And unfortunately, they all had to oblige. They got their dream job, so they're like, "Okay, 1 year, fine," and then we get to decide, and you can get out of the way. I hope that's the case. Because you know how Mara feels about Sean.
They're not going to try to fix Daniel Jones here. They're going to say exactly how I think Hefe or you said, Mr. Glass Half Full, is that listen, man, we're going to see what this kid can do. Let him go out and succeed and fail on his own. And I think Caesar's right. If he does 50 touchdowns, we still have a whole picture of what Daniel Jones looks like, and it's going to be tough. For the truth is, you got people saying, "Hey, I told you he was the great quarterback," but I really do think the Giants made their mind up and they're gonna move on. You're absolutely right, C's. And again, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I want him to be great, but again, to spend that much money on a quarterback position that only 1 year he's showing you something, it better be he better be MVP. That's the only way they'll sign him. He better be MVP of the league.
I think it's fool's money. It's kind of like Kirk Cousins. Then you're gonna give him a lot of cash. And you're going to get average production. Average doesn't win in this league.
No.
Do you think the Giants could be a Super Bowl caliber team next year? Or let's just say, do you think they could win a playoff game next year?
With what quarterback?
Well, that's the whole question here. Because if you draft a rookie, say if you in the middle of the round, are you expecting that rookie to come in and light up the league and get you to the playoffs? Because it's got to be playoffs next year. It's got to be right. Mm-hmm. Like this year, all right. Let's give Dable a break.
Unfortunately,
it's got to be close to playoffs. If not, they got to compete at some point.
Ooh, man, that's a loaded question. Because if you're saying playoffs, then I just might as well play my boy Tyrod.
Fair. That might be an option.
I think he's better than Daniel Jones.
Well, I think we'll see. You're going to see this year. We will see because Daniel Jones has yet to make it through a full season in his career. So Tyrod's going to play.
He's going to play.
I just
history says he'll play.
Last question, and I wanted to ask what John Fennelly was on because I wanted to get his idea because I really think here's the question. We're worried about Daniel Jones. We're worried about the wrong guy. The real question is what do you do with Leonard Williams if he balls out? Right? In that Calais Campbell role, what do you do with his contract? That's the question that you got to ask yourself because now it's like, all right, Leo's 27, 28?
He's young still.
Do you give him another 3 or 5 year deal? Like he already wanted Aaron Donald money. Like what do you do with him? I've been asking this across Giants Twitter like literally for the last 2.5 weeks, and I'm like, what do you do with that guy?
Yeah, I'm a huge,
damn good question.
Leonard
And
Williams
he's looking great too.
If he has some help for once, I think you're going to see what he could do from a pass rush standpoint. Again, you're looking at close to double-digit sacks. I think you have to let it ride for next year. You have to bring him back in 2023, and then you just you kick the cap opens up for the Giants next year.
Time.
It opens up. You could afford
with a rookie quarterback.
There you go, and that's something that another pro in the get rid of Daniel Jones had. So Leonard Williams is a contract you can afford to maybe re-up him another 3 years, and he's still going to be only 30, 32 by the end of that contract. Still a good age where you could still dominate, So I'm so excited to watch Leonard Williams, man. He's one of my favorite Giants.
He looked really good.
Best player on this defense.
He looked real. I don't know how he looked at FanFest, but he looked phenomenal at practice. He looked a little bit lighter and strong and quick as shit. He was burning everybody.
Hefe, he looked exactly as you advertised.
Okay,
he looks amazing, man.
And
quick off the ball, explosive, getting through the line, disrupting the run, moving guys around. And Monte was there too. And Hefe, and Spiro. So correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm seeing the wrong guy out there, but he looked amazing, man. Like I really think 15 sacks.
Him and Tibbs are just they got me drooling.
Yeah, man. This is gonna be it's gonna be fun. It's gonna remind you of the Tuck OC, the NASCAR. It's gonna remind you. I swear, it's gonna remind you of that, man. They play a 3-4, 4-3. They play like I'm just excited. Forgive me, I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah. Yes,
I know.
Excited. I love when he gets excited because he drops.
Would you have
crazy prediction?
Would you have a protein shake, bro? Calm down. Calm down back there.
The guys, I'm working. But is there anything else,
Monty,
man? You want to add?
Monty's trying to say something. What do you got?
Yeah, just saying what C's was saying. I mean, I just don't think we're in a position to let great players walk. If he has a great season, then you keep him around. I know he's making a lot of money, but like you guys said, we have money to hang on to. If he has a good year and you don't see him as part of the long-term plans, then see if maybe give a trades out there or something like that because you had a good enough year that maybe somebody's interested in. And if he's not, then you can move on with gaining more cap than you are getting dead cap. So I'm rooting for him to have a great year. If he's a great piece, you want that on your team. So that's a good situation in my mind.
Yeah, they do have an out after next year. It's not a ton of dead cap. I think only. Listen, $8 million is a lot of dead cap, but if they. It's doable. It's doable.
But when they have 90 something in place, right. But I just think after this year, it is a free year. They get to run Barkley into the ground. They get to let DJ sling it as much as possible because it's free, right?
Yeah.
They either crush it and you win games and you look brilliant for winning games with how this with no money, with how this roster is constructed. And then beyond that, next year they actually have flexibility. They bring in another 7 or so draft picks that are their guys. So now you got 20-something guys that are yours, close to that, but with free agents and stuff. And they have a lot of short-term deals with no money. So next year there's a lot of flexibility where they probably feel like next offseason they can actually be like, all right, we can start to actually build our team how we want it. Yeah. And Tyrod Taylor is a 2-year deal, right? So it's very possible they look to draft their guy and let Tyrod start the season next year while that guy develops. It's very possible that
I've said that too at the beginning, and I asked Nate, well, who else? I thought he was gonna give a little more like, oh well, we got Tyrod, but he absolutely hit the nail on the head there, El Jefe. Tyrod Taylor has that 2-year deal where he can still be that bridge quarterback.
There's
if
a reason
Daniel Jones
it's a 2-year
doesn't
deal.
work out.
They
You know what I mean?
Smart move.
Absolutely. So I think they have an idea who they want in the draft per se if things was to hit the fan, right? And then I think they have Tyrod to bridge that to find that quarterback that they're looking for. I think the Giants are in a great position. Like I said, if she says Daniel Jones lights it up, and the only way he'll get another contract, I think, is MVP level type performance, right? Well, he's out of this freaking world, right? But I don't think Daniel Jones is going to be a Giant next year. And I'm not saying that to poo-poo on the guy. It's just he got to do a lot. You know what I mean? But Tyrod Taylor is going to be that guy to bridge the next guy coming in, man. And I just hope, man, it works in our favor for sure. But you guys got anything else before?
One last thing.
Yeah.
With the Darius Slayton thing, right? He was a 5th rounder, right?
Right.
And you guys all remember Victor Cruz, undrafted free agent.
Never
you
heard
guys knew when he hit that first preseason game, you guys are like, okay, this kid
he's different.
Play.
He's different.
He's different. He can
Drooling.
play.
Yes.
Darius Slayton just reminds me of just another wide receiver in the league. Just like Daniel Jones reminds me of just another backup quarterback that, will wind up making, $30 to $40 million as a backup.
He'll have a good career. Yeah, he'll bounce around for the next 10 years being a backup.
And I love John Fennelly's quote: "You don't go to Duke to draft football players. You get basketball players from Duke." That was amazing, man.
100% right.
That was amazing.
There was no BS about John Fennelly, man.
None.
Yeah,
I like it. Shoot him up, no chaser. But thank you guys so much for joining us, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys, man.
Guys, we will.
Go follow Monty. Go follow C's.
Yes,
please, man, please. So,
hey, we appreciate all you guys for hanging around. We had some good crew hanging out with us today. We love. Hey, listen, don't be afraid to give us a call and jump in, chat. Make some calls. Get in here. Voice your opinion. Tell us bring a different topic if you want. This is just food for thought for next episode.
We haven't done this in a minute, and it was good to open up the lines like that. I like that. That's what we need to be doing. I like that.
100%.
So, guys, we got future guests coming up, man. Thank you guys for getting Peter Schreger from New York Revival, who will be on the show. We're working some dates out now. So thank you to the Giants community that helped us out.
Love me Schregs,
man, on there. So,
Eli working his magic over there.
No, man, it's Revival working their magic. So, guys, any last thoughts, man, before we wrap this up?
Do your thing, Eli.
Thank you.
Hey,
and on behalf of go ahead.
I'm looking forward to Thursday. That's all. We got a preseason game on Thursday, baby. Giants football.
Oh,
let's go.
Spiro just reminded me, for everybody that's into fantasy football, because it's about to be fantasy football draft season. Yes. You're starting to do your mock drafts. You're thinking about what you want to do. Me and Spiro are hosting a fantasy-centric show on Thursday afternoon. I think 2 p.m. We'll post about it. But we're going to have a special guest. Steffi Smalls is coming on.
Hey, Steffi,
an expert in the industry. We're gonna, but we want to open up the phone line. So bring your fan. We're stepping aside from. We're going to talk about Giants players, of course, but we're going to step aside and have some fantasy conversations. So join the show. Bring your questions. Where your
weekly
draft
segment.
Yep,
gonna be a weekly segment for you guys.
I think so. I think so.
Let's try to make some money together.
Let's win our leagues.
It's gonna be an awesome freaking show. Vibes ain't gonna be part of that. These guys are the betting guys. So
we got you.
We got you. Thank you guys. But guys, please support that show. Definitely Thursday, 2 p.m. Shout out Steffi Smalls, man. We got to cross paths, so I'll kind of jump in before the show starts. So, but guys, great show as usual. Thank you guys for calling in. Thank you, John, for coming on from the Giants Wire. We do appreciate your time. And on behalf of Mr. Glass Half Full, Speed, if you nasty now.
And you nasty, yeah.
You nasty. And on behalf of Mr. LFA, a.k.a. I was going to hope you finish it for me, man. Let's just try that. A.k.a. White Jersey, a.k.a. Blue Jersey, a.k.a. Damn it, Daniel, a.k.a. just because it's Tuesday. That's why. And we are New York Revival, where it's not just sports, it's entertainment. I'm your boy Eli Rax, a.k.a. Vibes. Y'all have a great night. Bless.
Let's go Mets.
One more time.
You know what, honey? Daniel Jones is trash, and he's always going to be trash. Still should have waited for Herbert.
We out.